We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Ilango. Okay, a friend of Ilango's is building a new house, and the AV vendor the builder uses will be installing a projector and a 120-inch screen in the basement. Ilango's friend doesn't watch movies. I fail to believe that that's even possible. I'm sorry. I would like to meet this person who does not watch movies. How can you not watch movies? Have you seen some of the movies that have come out? They're really good. Could you just watch a movie?
Let's replace that with "it's not a priority" then.
You cannot watch movies. That's insanity. That's like saying I don't breathe air or I don't like bacon. Do vegans like bacon? They just refuse to admit it. Delicious. There was a bacon plant. That would be their favorite plant. So there you go. Ilango's friend doesn't watch movies, only TV and sports. There's movies on TV, so shut up. All right. There's only one row of seats, and 1080p is fine. There's no light control planned. However, there will be an ambient light, so there is a projector and a screen that we would recommend for. Is there a projector and a screen we would recommend for the situation? The budget for the projector is about $1,000 to $2,000, and $500 to $1,000 for the screen. If we could keep both the costs at $2,500, they'd be even happier. All dollar amounts are Canadian.
Yes,
Yeah.
makes a difference.
It does make a difference because your
Difference.
dollar ain't worth nothing these days. You
That's
guys
right.
in the toilet. Also, the equipment vendor is Gibby Electronics, so the choices would need to be from what they offer. Okay, so what? I don't know what Gibby Electronics offers, so I'll be no help on that front. But that Epson 37, 39, I can't remember which one I reviewed.
You have the 3700 that you had.
Was the light? It was a
have.
light cannon. It was a very nice
Yeah.
projector, and that thing gets stupid bright. So if you have no light control, I think that line, the 3000 line from them, seems to be one that is very, very bright. That would be, and I can't believe that if they sell projectors, they don't have Epson in there someplace.
So I really like Gibby's overall. They're a great place to buy AV receivers. They're a great place to buy TVs. They're really nice people, knowledgeable people. So I really like Gibby's. However, when it comes to projectors and screens, their selection's kind of small. It doesn't seem to be the thing they focus on. Now, I'm basing that off of their website because I don't live in Ontario where their store is based, so I've never been to their physical location. Maybe they sell and have access to way more products than they sell through their website. That's entirely possible. But on their website, they only sell Sony for projectors, and they only sell Grand View for the projection screens. That's all that's on their website. So maybe working with them directly, they have access to more. But if I am limited to what they show on their website, I can't really I would point you at the Sony HW45, really nice projector. 2200 lumens would be nice to get potentially even brighter than that, but that might be sufficient. But it's $2,700 Canadian, $2,000 American, but our
Why does it have to come from Gibby's? Can't we get it from someplace else?
Well, because his AV vendor, that's the builder, works alongside Gibby's, so they work with Gibby's. Now, Grand View is one of those installation screen companies, so the price that you see typically includes installation.
Right.
So they look like a horrible value if you're just buying the screen for yourself, but if it includes installation, it's not quite so bad. That's why he was even thinking $1,000 for a 120-inch screen, right? So that's okay, but again, on their website, they have a limited selection, so I don't really know. I'm certain they can get, obviously other sizes and screens from Grand View if they're actually doing the installation. So if I'm strictly going by what's on the website, Sony has a VPL EW315. It's WXGA, in fact. It's not even that. It's 1280 by 800, so it's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. That's the bright, kind of nice, not too loud one that fits within your budget. I have two solutions. Solution number one, you're working directly with Gibby's, and hopefully they have access to a lot more products than what is on their website. Entirely possible. It'd be weird if they couldn't get a hold of an Epson projector.
No.
That's pretty easy. As far as screens, like I say, the Grand View screen isn't bad if it includes installation. If it doesn't include installation, that's extra. Terrible value. So solution number two is your friend buys the products himself and has Gibby's install it. You know, they charge an installation fee, but you just buy
Right.
the products yourself. In which case, you can get more for less money. So, I agree with Tom. The instead of the 3,700, again, our Canadian dollar makes that not a great value. You can still get the 3,500.
Yeah.
Which is actually replaced by the 3,700, so it's an older model, but they're virtually identical. 3,500 is about $1,500 Canadian, so it's within the budget you wanted. Super bright, very flexible in terms of where you can place. It's got lens shift and lots of zoom range and all the rest of it. Not the quietest projector ever, but you need lots of light.
Yeah.
So 3,500 from Epson, great choice. If you want to pay even less, if you want to pay $1,000, the Epson, again, sticking with Epson, the 2040 is a pretty good, bright, small projector. The thing is, it has no lens shift and extremely small zoom range. If it's being professionally installed, shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Right? They should be able to professionally install that thing and make it work, but it's just so you're aware, that's why it costs less. Doesn't have the lens shift, doesn't have much zoom range, and it's also not quite as good in the black levels in that, but it's $1,000 Canadian, 2040, still a very good choice. For the screen, I would go to Eastporters. They're the Canadian vendor for IluneVision. IluneVision has a very nice screen. So it's fixed frame, $500. And, I think it's Elara. I think that's the name of it.
I don't know. I can't see it. I don't know.
I'm just looking that up here.
I mean, just looking.
In any case, $500 for the 120-inch size, fixed frame IluneVision screen. I'm not seeing the name. I'm not sure why. Now,
EluneVision High Definition.
Yeah, I throw the it is Elara. Elara is the series model, because they have more expensive ones, but there's no need to get that. I'm going to suggest in this situation where it sounds like he's going to be watching it during the day. You said there's not light control, there's ambient light in the room. This is a situation where a gray screen does make sense.
Right.
Because
Slightly better black levels.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people talk about ambient light rejection and stuff like that. I'm not so much into that. Where gray makes sense is when you want black to look blacker. Because black can only ever be as black as the ambient light level in your room. That's black. The projector is turned off completely. It's black. Whatever you see on the screen, that's what your black is. So if you're going to have light and ambient light at all times, it makes sense to get a gray screen in this case.
Right.
So $500 for the 120-inch size. Eastporters also sells Epson projectors at good prices. So you could buy everything from Eastporters and then just have Gibby's install it, or talk to Gibby's, say, hey, can you get a hold of these Canadian products? Because
Right.
they are, and they should probably be able to. So
One would think.
that's the solution.
I mean, and let's just say that none of those things work. Like they're like, we won't install it because we didn't.
We'll
buy
only
it.
do what we
Yeah,
carry.
we'll only do
Yep.
what we carry. That sort of thing. Then just say, fine. You're going to get this stuff yourself anyways. You're going to install it. Believe me, installing a screen is not that hard. Installing a projector is not that hard. You have them install all and run the HDMI cable
run all
up
the
to
wires
it.
and everything.
Run all the wires, put the mount up there or whatever, the shelf or whatever you're going to get. You talk to us beforehand. Make sure you get what projector you're going to get. We tell you how far away it needs to be. Or you go to projectorcentral.com and you can figure it out yourself. It's not that hard. And Bob's your uncle. It's done. So
I will mention IluneVision with that Elara screen. There are two versions of the gray screen. One is a 1.1 gain, one is a 1.8 gain. Mm-hmm. And you might be going, oh, the 1.8 gain, higher gain, might be more ambient light rejecting. Avoid it. It hotspots like crazy.
Yeah.
You don't want the 1.8, get the 1.1. You're going to have lots of light if you go with the Epson 3500. Yeah. That'd be my top choice. Yeah. So $2,000 all in, plus tax, of course. But $2,000 all in, we're certainly within the budget you specified, and that'll be great performing products.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.